Right now you're here for a reason, not coincidence, not algorithm. Reason. Because something in your life just broke, or you're about to break. Maybe you lost something you thought you couldn't live without. Maybe you're facing a decision that terrifies you. Maybe you're drowning in confusion about who you are and what you're supposed to do. And somehow, in the middle of that chaos, you found this. That's not accident. That's pattern. Because this message doesn't find people when they're comfortable. It finds them when they're ready. When the pain has stripped away enough pretense that truth can finally get through. Marcus Aurelius wrote his meditations during the worst moments of his life. Plague ravaging Rome, war on every border, betrayal in his own court. He didn't write philosophy when things were good. He wrote it when everything was falling apart. Because that's when we're finally willing to listen. This video exists for one purpose, to reach you at the exact moment you need to hear what it says. Not before, when you would have dismissed it. Not after, when it would be too late. Now, when you're broken enough to be rebuilt. When you're lost enough to be found. When you're desperate enough to change. Watch closely, because what you're about to hear will either save you, or you'll forget it the moment your pain subsides. And that's exactly how you'll know whether you were truly ready. You didn't search for this randomly. Something is happening in your life right now. Something that forced you to look for answers outside yourself. Maybe you just ended a relationship that defined you. Maybe you just failed at something you were certain would work. Maybe someone you trusted just revealed themselves to be someone else entirely. Maybe you're just tired. Bone deep tired of pretending everything is fine when you're barely holding together. Whatever brought you here, it's not small. It's significant enough that you're willing to sit here and listen to a dead emperor from 2,000 years ago. That willingness is everything. Because most people never reach this point. They spend their entire lives avoiding the moments that break them, numbing the pain, distracting themselves, running from the very experiences that could transform them. But you're here, and that means some part of you knows that what you're going through isn't just happening to you, it's happening for you. Marcus Aurelius understood this. He wrote, "The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way." Your current crisis is not destroying your path. It is your path. The breakdown you're experiencing is not the end of your story. It's the beginning of the real one. Everything until now was preparation. This moment, right here, is where your actual life starts. Here's your first truth. You've been living wrong, and you needed this pain to realize it. That's hard to hear, but it's necessary. Because comfortable lies are more dangerous than painful truths. You've been building your life on foundations that were always going to collapse. Maybe you built your identity around a relationship that was never going to last. Maybe you built your self-worth around achievements that could always be taken away. Maybe you built your security around circumstances you never actually controlled. And now the foundation is cracking. The structure is falling. And you're terrified because you thought this was your life. It wasn't. It was a rehearsal, a first draft, a prototype that needed to fail so you could build something real. Marcus Aurelius knew this personally. He was born into wealth and groomed for power, but those external structures taught him nothing about who he actually was. It was only when faced with impossible burdens, when everything was at stake, when comfort was impossible, that he discovered his real strength. He wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. The pain you're in right now is burning away everything false. Your pretensions, your illusions, your borrowed identities. It hurts because you're attached to those things, but they were never you. Losing them is not losing yourself, it's finding yourself, for the first time." Step 2. Accept that this moment was always coming. You're not unlucky, you're not cursed, you're not being punished. You're experiencing exactly what every human who ever lived has experienced. Loss, failure, betrayal, confusion, the collapse of certainty, the death of old selves. Marcus Aurelius faced plague that killed millions, war that never ended, the death of children, political enemies who wanted him dead. And yet he wrote, Everything that happens, happens as it should. Not because he was naive, because he understood that resistance to what is creates suffering. Reality doesn't care what you think should happen, it simply is. And your refusal to accept that creates a second layer of pain on top of the inevitable first layer. The pain of the event itself is often bearable. The pain of believing it shouldn't have happened is what destroys you. You're here because something happened that you believe shouldn't have. Someone left who should have stayed. Something failed that should have succeeded. Life went left when you were certain it would go right. And now you're suffering not just from what happened, but from your insistence that it was wrong. Let that go. What happened was always going to happen. Every decision you made, every choice others made, every circumstance that aligned, it all led here. This moment was written into your story from the beginning. Not by fate, by causality, by the natural consequences of 10,000 small moments. And now you're here. Exactly where you were always going to be. The only question is what you do next. Step 3. Understand that you're being given a choice you've avoided your whole life. Right now, in this moment, you're standing at a fork. One path leads back to who you were, to comfort, to familiar patterns, to the same person making the same mistakes in a slightly different context. That path is easy. It requires no courage, no change, no growth. You just wait for the pain to fade, then rebuild the same structure that just collapsed. Most people take that path. They learn nothing from their crisis. They medicate the pain, distract themselves until it's manageable, then return to exactly who they were before. 6 months from now, they're back in the same situation, wondering why their life keeps repeating. The other path leads forward, to someone new. Someone you've never been, but always could be. That path is terrifying. It requires destroying who you were and building from the ground up. It requires admitting you were wrong about fundamental things. It requires changing in ways that will alienate some people and confuse others. Marcus Aurelius took the second path. He could have been a tyrant. The role was available. Easier. More immediately gratifying. Instead, he chose to be a philosopher king, to rule with wisdom instead of force, to use power to serve instead of dominate. That choice defined everything that followed. You have the same choice, right now. In this moment of pain, you can rebuild the old you, or you can become someone new. The decision you make in the next few days will determine the trajectory of your entire life. Choose carefully. Step 4. Use this pain as information, not identity. Here's where most people fail. They experience crisis and make it who they are. They become the person who got divorced, the person who failed, the person who was betrayed. They wear their wound as an identity and spend the rest of their life performing it. That's not healing. That's imprisonment. Marcus Aurelius experienced profound loss, but he never became the grieving father or the betrayed emperor. He remained who he chose to be, a student of philosophy, a practitioner of virtue, a man committed to living well regardless of circumstances. He wrote, "The happiness of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts. Your pain is real, but it's not who you are. It's what you're experiencing. There's a difference. You are not your crisis. You are how you respond to your crisis. So you use the pain as information. What is it teaching me? What patterns does it reveal? What parts of my life need to change? What beliefs need to be questioned? What attachments need to be released?" You extract every lesson. You mine the experience for wisdom, and then you let it go. You don't carry it as a badge. You don't perform it for sympathy. You don't let it become your story. You acknowledge what happened. You learn what it taught, and then you become someone new, someone wiser, someone stronger, someone who experienced that thing but is not defined by it. Step 5. Recognize that isolation is part of the process. Right now, you probably feel alone, like no one understands what you're going through, like you're drowning while everyone else is fine. That isolation is intentional, not cruel, necessary, because transformation happens in solitude. Marcus Aurelius ruled millions, but wrote his meditations alone. He didn't process his philosophy in public. He didn't perform his growth for an audience. He sat with himself, with his thoughts, with his pain, and did the work in private. You're in that space now. The space between who you were and who you'll become. Nobody can be there with you. Not really. People can support you, but they can't do the work for you. They can't make the realizations for you. They can't change for you. This part is yours alone, and that's terrifying. But it's also liberating. Because when you're alone, you can be honest. You don't have to perform strength you don't feel. You don't have to pretend you're okay. You don't have to maintain the image. You can fall apart. You can question everything. You can admit that you don't know who you are anymore. And in that admission, in that total honesty with yourself, transformation becomes possible. So stop resisting the isolation. Stop trying to fill the emptiness with noise. Sit with it. Let it teach you. Let it strip away everything false until only truth remains. That's where you'll find yourself. Not in the crowd, in the silence. Step 6. Remember that this video finding you means you're ready. Think about it. How many times have you scrolled past content like this? How many times have you dismissed philosophy as impractical or old or irrelevant? But not today. Today you watched. Today you listened. Today something in you recognized that you need this. That recognition is everything. It means you've reached the threshold. The point where pain has made you humble enough to learn. Where crisis has made you desperate enough to change. Where loss has made you empty enough to be filled with something new. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "The obstacle is the way." Your willingness to be here, watching this, proves that you understand that on some level. You understand that what's happening to you is not random punishment. It's structured education. And you're finally ready to be a student. Not of abstract philosophy, of yourself, of life, of truth. So don't dismiss this moment. Don't let the pain fade and forget everything you're feeling right now. This is your chance, your window. The brief opening when you're broken enough to be rebuilt correctly. Some people get this moment once in a lifetime. Some never get it at all. You're getting it now. Honor it. Use it. Let it transform you completely. Step 7. Understand that you'll forget this, and that's okay. Here's the hard truth. Everything you're feeling right now, this openness, this willingness to change, this moment of clarity, it won't last. The pain will fade. Life will stabilize. And when it does, you'll be tempted to go back to sleep. To forget these lessons. To rebuild the old structures. That's normal. That's human. Marcus Aurelius knew this. That's why he wrote the same lessons over and over in his meditations. Not because he was forgetful, because he knew he would forget. He knew that comfort makes people complacent, that when the crisis passes, the urgency passes with it. So he wrote reminders to himself. Anchor points to return to when he inevitably drifted. You need the same. Don't just watch this video and hope you'll remember. Write down what you're feeling right now. Document this moment. Describe your pain, your realizations, your commitments. Because 3 months from now, when things are better, you'll need to read those words. You'll need to remember who you were in this moment. What you learned. What you promised yourself. That written record will save you from repeating this cycle. From having to be broken again before you remember what being broken taught you. So document everything. And when you inevitably forget, when you drift back toward comfort and old patterns, return to those words. Let them wake you up again, as many times as necessary. Step 8. Decide right now who you'll become. This is the final instruction. Not a suggestion, a command. Right now, in this moment, while you're still in pain, while you're still open, while you're still ready, decide who you will be on the other side of this. Not what you'll do, not what you'll achieve, who you'll be. What kind of person do you want to emerge from this crisis? Someone bitter or someone wise? Someone closed or someone compassionate? Someone afraid or someone brave? Marcus Aurelius decided to be a philosopher king, to combine power with wisdom, to rule with virtue. That decision, made in a moment of crisis, defined the rest of his life. You have the same opportunity. Your crisis has shattered your old identity. Good. Now build a new one. Consciously, deliberately. Choose your principles. Choose your values. Choose how you'll treat people. Choose how you'll respond to difficulty. Choose who you'll be when no one's watching. And then become that person. Starting today. Not when you feel better. Today. Because feelings follow actions. You don't wait to feel like the new person. You act like the new person until the feelings catch up. You practice integrity until you become someone who acts with integrity automatically. You practice courage until fear no longer controls you. You practice wisdom until good decisions become instinctive. This is how transformation works. Not through waiting, through doing. Now understand this. You found this video at exactly the right time. Not too early, when you weren't ready to hear it. Not too late when it wouldn't matter. Now, when you're balanced on the edge between who you were and who you could become. That timing is not luck. It's life offering you exactly what you need when you're finally ready to receive it. Marcus Aurelius called it the logos, the rational principle organizing the universe. You might call it synchronicity, or divine timing, or pattern recognition. The label doesn't matter. What matters is that you recognize this moment for what it is, an opportunity. A gift wrapped in suffering, a chance to stop sleepwalking through your life and finally wake up. Most people never get this chance. They live and die without ever being shaken awake, without ever questioning their patterns, without ever becoming who they could have been. You're different. You're here. You're awake. You're ready. The question is what you'll do with this readiness. Will you let it fade when the pain subsides? Will you return to comfort and forget everything you learned? Or will you honor this moment by changing completely, by becoming someone new, by using your crisis as the catalyst for your transformation? That choice is yours. But know this, if you waste this opportunity, if you let comfort lull you back to sleep, you'll have to be broken again. Maybe harder next time, maybe in ways you won't recover from. Life will keep teaching the same lesson in progressively more painful ways until you finally learn it, or until you run out of time to learn. You've been given the message, not from me, from yourself, from the part of you that knows you were meant for more than the life you've been living. The part that's been waiting for this moment, waiting for the crisis that would finally make you ready to change. You learned that you're here because you're ready, because the pain has stripped away enough pretense that truth can get through. You learned that you've been living wrong and needed this crisis to realize it. You learned to accept that this moment was always coming, written into your story by causality. You learned that you're being given a choice between rebuilding the old you or becoming someone new. You learned to use pain as information, not identity. You learned that isolation is necessary for transformation. You learned that this video finding you means you've reached the threshold. You learned that you'll forget and need to document this moment. And you learned to decide right now who you'll become. This is Marcus Aurelius reaching across 2,000 years. Not to comfort you, to challenge you, to tell you that your crisis is not a mistake. It's a message. And the message is simple. Wake up. Change. Become who you were always meant to be, before it's too late. So no, this wasn't about making you feel better. This was about making you finally ready to be different, to stop repeating, to stop performing, to stop pretending, and to start building a life that's actually yours. A life based on truth instead of illusion, on character instead of image, on who you are instead of what you have. Marcus Aurelius ended his meditations with a simple truth. Confine yourself to the present. This moment right here. This is your life. Not the past you're mourning. Not the future you're fearing. This. And what you do with this moment determines everything that follows. Like this video if it found you when you needed it. Subscribe if you're ready to honor this moment by changing completely. Because this isn't content, this is a mirror. And what you see in it is exactly who you've been avoiding becoming. Until now.